Hi, it's David from Life with Parkinson's. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing. For everybody else, thank you for coming back and watching another episode. And this is a bit of a funny story. I thought about this video, about 4, 5, or 6 weeks ago. I was having a really bad off just after dinner and I had to go lay down, and I'm like, I need to get up. I need to get up and work on this presentation. Because there was this Facebook support group who was asking me to come and speak that weekend. And I'm like, I've got to get this done. So I made the whole thing up in my head. And I'm like, how am I going to remember this? Because I can't even get up and pick up my phone and type into it. But thankfully, the next morning, I was able to remember it. It took a little while, but this is it. The 5 P's of Parkinson's plus 1. I hope you enjoy. The first P is positivity. Woo! Just what we want to do. Don't worry. Be happy. Do 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 do. Don't worry. Do 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 do. Parkinson's great. Do 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 do. Parkinson's is great. Parkinson's is literally a fight for our brain. Because when our dopamine stops, all these fun symptoms come up like depression, anxiety, apathy. There's got to be more. Forgetfulness. There we go. Forgetfulness. Well, yeah, that reminds me when shortly after I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, I was having a bit of depression. And for those of you who don't know, depression can bring on memory loss. So there were times at work when I'd be driving up in Worcester and I'd be going, where am I driving to? Like I made a decision to go to a certain customer's place, and then on the way I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going anymore. So that happened a number of times. And then the funniest thing, the weirdest thing that happened was that I was pumping gas into the car and I couldn't remember how to use the gas pump. That set me back a little bit. But it turned out when I went to see a dementia specialist that depression can cause memory loss all on its own, and that I did not know. When I say that Parkinson's is literally a fight for our brain, it definitely is, because when I'm going off and my medications are low, I have trouble thinking straight, and when I'm on, I can make good decisions again. So it's a really flopsy, dopsy, topsy-turvy kind of thing. Staying positive is definitely a key thing for me. With all the number of symptoms that Parkinson's can bring on and the enormity of the list, find me a disease with more symptoms and side effects, and I will be very surprised. And when we get diagnosed, it's possible that we could go into a bit of a mourning period, like mourning the loss of our old, stable life that we really enjoyed, learning how to accept the changes that Parkinson's is going to make in us. But I've got to be honest here with you. Like, Parkinson's is going to change who you are, because I feel, in my opinion anyhow, it affects our brain so much that our personalities may change a little bit. I'm always like, yeah, I'm the old person who I was, and nothing's about me has changed. But yeah, it really has. Like I talked about before, when I'm off, I have what's called a mild cognitive impairment. So, when that's happening, I'm definitely not my old self. And I notice that change, and I know other people do as well. Yeah, and I like to try and trick myself and say I haven't changed a little bit, but I know that's not true. Punctuality. Woo! On time, all the time. On time, all the time is a phrase I was taught shortly after my diagnosis at UBC Hospital. And they were just like, your medication has to be on time all the time. And in the beginning, for me, that wasn't really much of an issue. Like, I could take my medication early. That probably wasn't the best thing to do. I could take my medication later and it wouldn't really affect me. But now I really notice it. I really do. Like, if I've taken my medication even 5 or 10 minutes late, my brain is like, hey, send down the dopamine. Send down the dopamine pills to your belly so we can get that up in our brain and feel better. So I made a little short video a little while ago talking about If the military life is for you and you're considering a chronic illness, then Parkinson's might be your ticket. If you enjoy the structured military life and never having to think for yourself, come and join the world of Parkinson's. This could be the chronic illness for you. Like, really now, life is like one giant stopwatch or one giant alarm clock that never... Like, if you're asking your Google or your Siri to set you a timer, you might have to set like 97 timers during the next week because you're going to have to be punctual. So if you're the type of person that likes to sleep in, that's out the door. If there's something new I want to do and I have to move my pill schedule to accommodate that activity, like say I want to go somewhere early or I want to sleep in, it's like, no. You don't have to ask your parents, you have to ask your Parkinson's. Can I do this activity? Can I get up an hour early and, I don't know, go fishing or go shopping or go visit some friends and family? And it's like, no, can't do that because that would be altering our pill schedule. Like, the worst day of the week for me is garbage day because I have to have the garbage out by 7 a.m. And 7 a.m. is when I take my first pills of the day. So that is a tough time for me to get the garbage out. Lately, I've been waking up at 6 and taking my pills like 45 minutes early. But it's funny because the stress of trying to get the garbage out on time somehow, for some reason, always delays the turning on of the medication. I don't know why that is. As soon as the garbage truck goes by and they haven't picked up our garbage or my wife's taking out the garbage for me, I'm fine. But the stress of having to wait for that on time to come when it's garbage day is just really strange. I don't know. Parkinson's is out to get me. Okay, the next P for Parkinson's is productivity. Woo! We are going to train like a Navy SEAL. We are going to exercise. We are boxing. We are dancing. We are, maybe not rollerblading. We are lifting weights. With the amount of exercise we need to get with Parkinson's, like, there is going to be very little sitting around for anybody with this disease because up, off we go. But I've noticed that with the productivity that I want, self-injury is a big issue. Like, I've self-injured myself a few times working out. And I got to tell you, when you can't go for a walk and your body is like, please take me for a walk, I really need to feel better. And you can't go because you weren't listening to your body and you pulled your calf muscle really badly, it's a real bummer. So I say, yes, productivity all the way. Lots of exercise is good, but we really need to pace ourselves and be aware of self-injury. And this is where I feel consulting a good physiotherapist on your medical team to help you set up a good exercise schedule is the right thing to do. Like, I still do the exercises my first physiotherapist gave me long ago. I feel that we need to be productive and we need to exercise a good amount of time, but we also need to pace ourselves and do what we can do. Okay, the next P for Parkinson's is prevention. And there's a question in here that I feel I don't know if I ask it enough of the time. And you guys can let me know in the comments if you feel that you ask this question enough or if you don't really ask it at all. What can I do to help myself? What can I do to slow the progression of my disease? And that's what I'm asking you guys. What can you do to help yourself? What can you do to slow the progression of your disease? And another good question is, how is my self-care? How am I taking care of myself? Am I being gentle on myself? Am I beating myself up because I've noticed that, hey, it's getting harder to get up and down the stairs. Hey, it's getting harder to get in and out of the car. I'm not taking care of myself enough. Like, are you constantly beating yourself over that? Are you looking for like new symptoms, like a foot drag and going, I'm not exercising enough now because my foot is dragging? And I think beating ourselves up over symptoms or perceived symptoms is just going to make things worse. Sometimes I feel it's just good to look beyond just taking the pills. What other things can I do that will help my illness? Do we just dump it on other people and just say, hey, I've had enough. I'm checking out of the office today. I'm not going to be cooperative. I'm not going to be helpful. I'm going to be grumpy. I'm going to sit in my chair all day and let my caregivers do over me. I'm just not going to be cooperative at all. I just feel that is just putting an unneeded burden on other people that we don't need to do. When we're doing that act of woe is me and misery loves company, I don't think we're being helpful at all. So how is our self-care? How are we looking out for others? How are we looking for ways to slow the progression of our disease? Like, there are other things beyond diet, exercise, and pills that you can utilize and do that will not only make your journey easier, but those around you will get a little break and be happy that you're taking an active part in your own care. And my last P for Parkinson's is perseverance. And one of my favorite military quotes of all time is, "Retreat, hell? We just got here." Parkinson's is not going away anytime soon. There is no cure out there. There is only symptom management. Yes, you see stuff on the news come out all the time, but these are future technology. These are long into the future. Don't be deceived by the next perceived silver bullet, right? As far as I know, they're not even sure how Parkinson's is caused. So if we're that far from a cause, we're probably far from a cure. So we've got to persevere. And one way we can do that is we can take this journey together, right? We can support each other, love each other, come around, listen to each other, empathize, find ways that help ease our symptoms. And that's one of the things I try to do here on the channel, is through our sponsors like Comfort Linen, Rouge Care Canada, D'Oro Devices. Their heart is to help make your lives easier. One thing I've noticed about Parkinson's disease over time is it doesn't need a break. Like, we need like 8 to 10 hours of rest per day. But Parkinson's doesn't need 8 to 10 hours of rest. Right? It never takes a break. So unfortunately, we have to fight back with the same kind of perseverance and intensity that Parkinson's disease does. Because if we don't, it's just going to steamroll right over us. Right? It doesn't care if we've taken our pills late. It doesn't care if we've eaten something that puts us in an off state. It doesn't care if we've accidentally drinking some caffeine and now we're having a bad off. It just keeps going and going and going. We need people on our team, in our group, cheering for us, going, go, go, go. Because Parkinson's can isolate us. When we're cut off from the group with that empathetic spirit, that's when the battle for our brains starts all over again, which takes us back to positivity. I hope you've enjoyed the 5 P's of Parkinson's plus 1. Please let me know in the comments below what you think, what I left out, what I could have added, what parts you loved, and let's take this journey together. Thank you for watching and supporting this channel. I will see you on the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.